Hello fellow entrepreneurs! Welcome to my channel where I read and summarize books relating to being a better entrepreneur. I met no one who I thought was wise who didn't read. I believe reading is essential for those who seek to rise above the ordinary. So today, we will be learning from Danielle LaPorte's book, The Firestarter Sessions. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. As with all great things, there is a cost. You'll need self-awareness to stay true to yourself and marketing skills to succeed in the big business world. To reach your full potential, you'll need to be willing to dive into the depths of your being, into places you're afraid to go, and most importantly, you'll need to learn how to take control of your life. Part 1. Start by figuring out what makes you happy, because this is where your true talent is. Consider Michael Jordan playing basketball. No one could understand how he could be one of the best players in the world while making it look so simple and enjoyable. Jordan, despite being a brilliant athlete, failed miserably when he decided to retire from professional basketball and instead play professional baseball. Why? Simply because baseball was not his strongest suit and he didn't care for it. He excelled once more when he returned to basketball, demonstrating that the right job can light you up. Try thinking of all the things you are good at if you want to discover your true talent. What activities, for example, do you truly enjoy? When do you feel completely at ease in your own skin? Write down your answers, and if you're stumped, ask your best friend for help. You may discover that you have a long list of skills. However, if you want to be successful, you should stop trying to be good at everything and start picking your battles. Let's say you're a decent cook who gets tense when it comes to preparing a meal. You may believe that if you just practice some more, you can make it as a professional chef, but it's more likely that you're not cut out for the job. Rather than expending all of your energy on improving something that doesn't feel right, try honing another one of your skills until you find one that does. Do what comes naturally to you and makes you happy. Most of us learn early on that meeting other people's expectations requires a lot of effort. But it is the myth of endurance that prevents us from opting for a life that is simple, efficient, and self-compassionate. The truth is that taking the easy road is more effective in life. If it doesn't feel easy and juicy, says creativity coach Diana Valentine, you're automatically dropping your operation percentage down to about 80 to 70%. Valentine's logic, however, does not imply that you should go the cheap, easy route. Staying in a suffocating relationship because it seems easier than facing heartbreak is an example of cheap and easy. Instead, take the simple route and look at your strongest assets. What topics do you already know a lot about? For instance, if you are already doing taxes for all of your friends and neighbors, and you enjoy it, why not try to incorporate your passion for numbers into your daily life? Part 2. Make a to-do list. Take a piece of paper and make a to-do list for the coming week to learn more about your simple route. Which of these skills do you excel at? Which of these piques your interest? When you're enthusiastic about something, you're having a good time doing it. When you're enthusiastic about something, you're completely focused on it. Anything less isn't worth doing. This necessitates careful project selection. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. Bright faith is a Buddhist term for a particular type of faith. This isn't the kind of faith that gives your psychology, spirituality, or devotion a solid foundation. It's not the kind of insurance faith where we hope or trust that life will take care of us. And if you are truly passionate about something, you can have bright faith. When you have bright faith in an idea, you know you're in the right place at the right time, and that life will take care of you. You'll have the feeling that you're on the right track and aren't wasting time on unimportant and time-consuming activities. Instead of setting goals, consider how you want to feel, and don't be embarrassed to say so. Do you have to-do lists, quarterly objectives, and 5-year goals like those super productive people? If that's the case, do these lists make you happy? Most of the time, they don't. Why? Because our goal-setting processes are frequently reversed. Instead of focusing on the outcomes, we should consider how we want to feel. While you're busy setting goals, such as chasing the house, the boat, and the mate, you might lose sight of what you're really after, how you want to feel as a result of these things. Consider what would happen if you first decided how you wanted to feel before making a to-do list. If you want to feel wealthy, for example, do the things that make you wealthy. You will naturally attract more experiences that make you wealthy. So, think about it. What can you do right now, today, to feel the way that you want to feel? If you want to feel more wealthy, you could make your monthly donation to a good cause a week earlier, or buy a glass of wine for a friend. Many of us, on the other hand, already know how we want to feel, but we believe we don't deserve it. You must stop judging your feelings in order to overcome this inner block. Stop making excuses for your wants and needs. Rather than overanalyzing your emotions, pay attention to what they're saying. One of LaPorte's clients, for example, wanted to feel important but kept asking herself, isn't it wrong to want to feel that way? Isn't it conceited? She was judging her emotions when she should have been concentrating on what would make her feel important. Finally, she followed her heart and stopped taking on clients who made her feel insignificant, and her business grew alongside her happiness. Part 3. Make up a cocktail line that makes you feel good. What do you say when the most famous party question is asked? So what do you do? What's more, how does your response make you feel? Many people, in fact, have cocktail lines that make them feel bad. Consider how many people you've met who responded to questions about their jobs with a monotone voice and a bored expression. Having a good answer to this question will not only make you feel good, but will also help your business. Anyone you speak with will be able to tell you if you are truly passionate about your work or if you are only in it for the money. Instead of sounding bored with your life, your cocktail line should be confident in expressing what you do. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're an ice cream truck driver or a primetime TV producer. If you say what you do with a smile on your face, you'll appear genuine and at ease. Consider LaPorte's client, who began by simply introducing herself as an athletic coach. She wasn't just a sports coach, though. Consider her cocktail line after she worked on it. I own a company called Power Racing that specializes in athletic performance. My coaching staff and I create training plans for athletes, but we also work with other types of CrossFitters. It's a combination of science and motivation. Can you see how she manages to communicate her joy? She's also not exaggerating, she's simply stating the facts. Here are some simple questions you can ask yourself to help you create your own killer cocktail line. What about your job makes you feel strong, passionate, liberated, and enthusiastic? What impact does your work have on people's lives? And how would you like to be seen, acknowledged, rewarded, or praised? Part 4. Forget your failures and focus on the future. It's easy to focus on what went wrong when you've made a genuine mistake. Some of us, in fact, are still reliving our worst failures, defeats, and breakups over and over. But how is that mindset beneficial to you? The truth is that past mishaps have only one redeeming quality: what you can learn from them. When people are stuck in the past, it is difficult for them to see a bright future. Take Jack, for example, who went on and on about his ex-wife and other failed relationships after being asked to describe his ideal relationship. That pattern is a surefire way to stay single and negative. But you don't have to stay stuck in the past. By thinking about and writing down your biggest mistakes, you can learn from them. Consider what you've truly gained from them. Then make a promise to rid yourself of your negative thoughts. Maybe even burn the piece of paper you wrote on. This method of purging the past can also aid in the development of new dreams. This can be accomplished by holding a fantasy funeral. Consider Alexandra's New Year's Eve tradition. Her family wrote down and buried beliefs, feelings, and dreams that they needed to let go of because they were no longer useful. You're ready to write down and visualize a new dream once you've gotten rid of your old ones. Begin by putting yourself in a happy, excited state and make it a dream list. Go for outlandish, irrational fantasies. Start visualizing your success and outcomes once you've established your vision. Consider how the world would feel if you had already realized your goal. Part 5. Make your feelings a priority and don't be afraid of criticism. Have you ever had a vision of where you wanted to go but were afraid to take the steps necessary to make it a reality? Don't worry, you're not alone. Imagine yourself as a team coach, giving your emotions a pep talk before the game. So, how is everyone feeling? The excitement will be palpable. I can't wait to get started. But fear will rise up and say, "Are you insane? If I lose this game, I will never play again." "All right, you make some good points, and we appreciate your point of view," you say, stepping in to keep the fear at bay. But listen to the others. Enthusiasm, you're in the lead, and confidence is on your side. Don't worry, you'll be on the bench. Criticism is a major source of fear, but there are ways to deal with it constructively. First and foremost, take a deep breath. It is critical that your brain receives enough oxygen in order to avoid reacting rashly. Then acknowledge that criticism is painful. When you're completely honest with yourself, you'll say things like, "Wow, that's difficult to hear, but I'm up for it." You level the playing field between yourself and the critic, and you come across as a mature individual. Next, don't react right away. It's better to give it some time to sink in before approaching the critic. This allows you to avoid saying things you don't mean and focus on the things you really want to say. Finally, don't believe everything you hear. A manager at a retail job once gave LaPorte a poor performance review. She, on the other hand, stood firm and complained to her manager's boss. She wasn't the only one who had issues with the manager, it turned out. Finally, her complaint resulted in a promotion, and the manager got fired from the company. Part 6. Trust your instincts when dealing with people and know when to walk away. Other people are both a blessing and a curse to us all. While some interactions can be extremely rewarding, others can be extremely stressful, especially when people try to play you. So, how do we tell what's good from what's bad? The majority of the time, your first impression of a person is correct, so trust your instincts when meeting new people. There's even an old Buddhist proverb that sums up LaPorte's philosophy. As in the beginning, so in the middle, so in the end. LaPorte, for example, once hired a consultant who refused to meet with her after the first meeting. He called 2 days later to reschedule and offered no apology or explanation. But LaPorte hired him anyway, believing he was the only good consultant in town. However, he continued to put her down in one way or another, and the relationship eventually fell apart. LaPorte had a gut feeling something wasn't right from the start, but she ignored it. We must also know when to walk away when dealing with people. We don't always walk away quickly enough because we're too committed to our principles, which costs us money, time, and most importantly, inner peace. LaPorte, for example, was entangled in a tangled contract with some TV producers, which resulted in a lot of friction. The fights became more heated, and she refused to let it go because of her principles, so she decided to go to court. She didn't care about the money. What bothered her was the fact that they were attempting to defraud her. Her lawyer, on the other hand, gently reminded her that she had seen clients drag their cases out for months, making themselves sick, ruining their marriages, or draining their bank accounts, all for the sake of their beliefs. As a result, she gave LaPorte some excellent advice. Get on with your life. Part 7. Find your inner muse and sharpen your brand. The voice of our inner muse, which comes alive when you listen to its call, is hidden within each of us. Try paying close attention the next time you hear it whispering, and watch your creativity flow. You could do as author Richard Bach does and give your muse a name. He refers to his as the Idea Fairy. She pays him a visit while he's gardening or flying in a plane. That's why he learned to fly his own plane, and among the clouds, he found inspiration for his books. You should also pay attention to when and where your inner muse appears. You can then recreate the ideal working conditions for your muse to come to you on a regular basis. Sharpening your brand entails identifying your key attributes and determining which ones are most important to your success. You can then concentrate on what matters most in order to increase your creativity. Let's pretend you're a carpenter who has recently lost his or her sense of direction. If you examine the motivation behind your profession, you may discover that it is to make people feel at ease in their own homes. Now that you've honed your brand's purpose, you can channel that energy into reinvigorating your muse and your creativity, and you'll probably notice when your muse is shining by the number of new clients you get. If you're having trouble figuring out who your inner muse or brand is, try interviewing a close friend and asking them the following questions. What do you think my strongest suit is? What do you think my goal is? When was the last time you saw me really shine? Part 8. Figure out your time personality. You, like many others, may have tried a variety of time management systems in the past without finding one that works for you. This is a common trend because, while systems can help us manage our lives, they can also enslave us. Obsessive time management, for example, can be compared to an overly strict diet that helps us lose weight, but does not keep it off in the long run. Why? Because while you may believe the system makes you more productive at first, things begin to fall apart after a while, and you begin to feel even worse than before. Or you want to rebel against your system because you've begun to believe that your system, rather than the other way around, is in charge of you. However, there is a way to become a better time manager without using a system. What we need to do is figure out what our time personality is and how to change it. You could be a time cop, the type who keeps track of the minutes and is always on schedule. This trait makes you extremely dependable, but it can also make you feel stressed all of the time. Then there's the time slacker, who says things like, "I'm only 5 minutes late, what's the big deal?" This tendency can help you feel less stressed, but it can quickly irritate others who are always waiting for you. You must learn how to change aspects of your time personality in order to get the best of both worlds. If you're a time cop, for example, you can refuse to rush and still be on time by scheduling periods of free time that you can use to unwind, or by eliminating appointments that aren't truly important and focusing on those that do. Part 9. Make sure you identify exactly how much money you need. What is most important to you? What do wealth, reputation, and happiness have to do with each other? The answers differ greatly from person to person and lead us down a variety of paths. But when you don't know yourself, it can feel like you're going around in circles. To figure out what really matters, you should figure out what you need money for. You will have a clear purpose for your money if you have a clear idea of what you want from life. Do you want a house and a car, for example? Do you long for a sense of security? Do you want a long vacation or to be completely free? By asking yourself the following questions, you can try to get as clear a purpose as possible. What do you consider to be rich? What are your favorite ways to spend money? What do you hate paying for the most? When, where, and how do you save money? When, where, and how do you show your generosity? Even though money is necessary for a happy life, it is sometimes preferable to charge less, if that is what feels right. Consider Violet, a LaPorte friend who was hired at a nonprofit organization with a good starting salary. Shortly after, the company paid an older expert his asking price and hired him. Violet was his boss, but she was now making 35% less than him, so the NGO felt obligated to pay Violet more. Violet, on the other hand, now felt she was making too much money. She would have preferred to have gotten her raise based on her own performance, rather than something she didn't do herself. So she asked to be reinstated at her previous salary, and she felt much better as a result. Part 10. Be a giver and strengthen your bonds. Do you have a group of friends or coworkers with whom you feel completely comfortable? Then you've already discovered your tribe, and you'll understand how valuable it is. If you don't already have a tribe, try to figure out what types of people inspire you. Who do you want to collaborate with the most? What is it that they must believe in? LaPorte, for example, once worked with a woman who believed that trust must be earned. She wouldn't trust someone unless they'd proven themselves worthy of it, so she withheld information as a bargaining chip. This personality trait led LaPorte to realize that she preferred to work with people who were happy and trustworthy. So she made a new rule for her friends and coworkers. If you want to work with me, you have to believe that a strong heart is one that trusts. However, having a strong tribe isn't enough in life. You also need strong personal relationships, and starting to give more freely is a tried and true way to strengthen your relationships. Most of us have witnessed firsthand how generosity can strengthen our bonds. An unexpected moment of connection with a stranger who did us a kind deed, or the smile on our partner's face when they return home to find a delicious meal waiting for them. Try to use this power to strengthen your bonds. Bring your partner an unexpected gift the next time you see him or her, for example. Alternatively, buy the next round of drinks for your friends the next time you're out. You'll be surprised how grateful they'll be. Just remember, you are not obligated to follow other people's definitions of success. Instead, stay true to yourself and learn how to succeed in the business world. Learn how to boost your creativity by listening to your inner muse, define yourself by your strengths, and embrace the future by letting go of the past. This wraps up the summary from the book, The Firestarter Sessions by Danielle LaPorte. Thank you for sticking it out through the very end of this video. Nothing helps out my channel more than y'all watching the entire video. These videos take a long time to make, and is a labor of love. If you would like to contribute by buying me a cup of coffee, I'll leave the link below along with a link to this book. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and watch these videos that might pique your interest. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, keep reading.